What is it? She demanded, her voice strained against the overwhelming tide of the vision. The eye's laughter was like the creak of ancient wood under pressure. The burning truth. The stillness of the cavern had long vanished, replaced by the weight of destiny. The Eye of the Webbish Bog's haunting laughter faded into echoes that stretched beyond sound, burrowing into her very soul. "You are the Ember," the voice had proclaimed, its words seared into her memory like molten iron. And now, as Mother Askani stood on the precipice of revelation, suddenly her world shifted, and she found herself in ruins of an ancient Jedi temple that stretched endlessly before her. Ash fell like snow, painting the shattered stones in muted grey. The silence was not peace, but an aching void, thick with the sorrow of what had been lost. At the heart of the devastation burned the flame, a golden fire that neither consumed nor diminished. Its light wove through the ruins like a living thing, illuminating fractures and casting shadows that danced with the echoes of forgotten struggles. This was no ordinary fire. It pulsed with purpose, its hues shifting between gold, crimson, and violet. Each flicker whispered of lives lost, battles fought, and truths ignored. The Force itself had found its voice in this flame, and it spoke now, not with words, but with a presence that pressed against her mind, demanding to be understood. "The fire reveals all," the voice proclaimed, its power reverberating through her. "Your blindness, your silence, your decay." Her breath caught as the vision deepened. The golden fire surged, casting its light across 11 pillars, monuments of fracture that loomed like specters in the shadows. Each one bore the weight of a wound that threatened to shatter the galaxy. The rift on Tython, a scar in the Force itself, the refugee crisis, a stain on compassion, corruption festering in the Galactic Alliance Senate, the Nameless, hunting the light with relentless cruelty, expansionism and colonial exploitation. Each word struck like a blow, and the flame did not relent. It forced her to see, to confront the unspoken truths that others turned away from. The galaxy was a tinderbox, its fractures a kindling that fed the darkness. But amidst the shadows, the flame revealed a single ember. It fell from the fire's heart and sank into the barren soil. From that ember, life began to bloom, fragile vines twisting upward, forming the ancient symbol of the Jedi. The voice of the flame rose again, tempered now with resolve. "You are scattered embers, Romi Jade, but I call upon you to ignite the flame anew. Burn away the rot, the blindness, and the fear, but guard their spirit, or all will fall to ash." It knew her true name, saw through her facade. When she awoke, the mire of the cavern greeted her once more. The Eye of the Webbish Bog watched, unblinking, its role complete. Her body trembled with exhaustion, but her spirit burned with clarity. The 11 pillars stood before her, not as impossibilities, but as a call to action. She was the ember, the bridge between ruin and renewal. The weight of the galaxy's survival pressed against her shoulders, yet she carried it with resolve, for the fire did not consume, it revealed. And she, the chosen bearer of the burning truth, would lead them through the flame. Or let them fall to ash, a reckoning, the voice said. It's almost as if the Force itself pleaded for intervention, offering her a single truth. Hope lies in rebirth, but only through action. The cavern's oppressive stillness returned, as though the world had exhaled in relief once the vision subsided. She stumbled back, her breath ragged, as the echoes of what she'd seen clawed at her mind. The Eye of Webbish Bog loomed silently, its grotesque head tilting as though waiting for her to speak. She finally broke the silence, her voice sharp but laced with uncertainty. "That could all be a lie. A trick," she said. The Eye chuckled, a wet, gurgling sound that reverberated through the cavern. "Oh, little shadow, you give me too much credit. Do you think I wove the 11 pillars from your thoughts, conjured the faces of the dying? No, Jedi. That came from somewhere deeper." She scowled, gesturing around the cavern. "You say that, but you're just words and riddles. A puppet of this place, or the dark currents running through it. If the Force wanted me to see this, why not show me directly? Why involve you?" The Eye's many folds and layers shifted, the tethered head moving closer. Its voice dropped, quieter, more deliberate. "Because the truth is often unwelcome, even to those who seek it. You cling to the idea of manipulation because it's easier than facing what you've seen. But the flame doesn't care about your doubt, Jedi. It burns regardless." She opened her mouth to retort, but something in the creature's tone stilled her. The fire from the vision still seemed to glow faintly in her chest, a warmth that wasn't entirely her own. She shook her head, unwilling to concede. The Eye tilted its grotesque head, its gaze piercing. "You are already in motion, little shadow. The Force does not choose randomly, nor does it waste time with those who lack the will to see the truth through." Her breath hitched. She knew that to be true. She thought of the faces in the vision, the galaxy engulfed in flame, the 11 pillars falling one by one. Her instinct screamed to push back, to reject it all. But the pieces slid together in her mind with a finality she couldn't ignore. The Eye's voice softened, almost pitying. "You know it's true, Jedi. You've seen the flame. You've felt its weight. Deny it if you like, but it will not change the path before you. This is the burning truth." Her fists clenched at her sides, her jaw tightening. "If I accept this, then what am I supposed to do?" The creature chuckled again, a low rumble that seemed to come from the earth itself. "That, little shadow, is the question only you can answer." The words hung in the air like a challenge. For a long moment, Askani said nothing, her gaze locked on the tethered head. Finally, she exhaled sharply, turning toward the cavern's edge. "You're infuriating," she muttered, glancing back. "And yet you linger," the Eye replied, a trace of humor in its voice. She stepped into the misty darkness, her resolve solidifying with each step. The vision wasn't a trick. It wasn't a lie. She knew now that the flame was real, and she couldn't turn away from it. She couldn't ignore the reckoning that was the burning truth, but she could find more embers.